in a win over Penn State, nearly 300 yards from scrimmage and 3 touchdowns. On the season, 770 passing yards, 6 passing TDs, couple of rushing touchdowns. Maryland is 2-1, and they're in third in the Big Ten East. You've got Maryland hosting Ohio State, an enormous game on Saturday. Quarterback Taulia Tagovailoa joins me. Taulia, great to have you on the show. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Good, man. Good. Listen, let me start you off with talking about you coming off the fact you had that big game against Penn State. You were 14 of your first 19 passes. You had a couple of touchdowns in the first quarter. That gave the team a lead that it would not give up. I want to start right there because Maryland has not always had a lot of success against Penn State. So what did it mean to you to come out and turn in a performance like that and show up on the big stage that way?
I mean, it was just a good feeling, going out there with my brothers and just taking what we do at practice every day. I think what we showed on Saturday is just the hard work that we put in throughout the week, really our whole team. So it was good.
Yeah, not only that, but you were coming off a game where, to me, the most impressive thing is the way you bounced back after the season opener. That was not necessarily the result you would have liked, but you handled it so well. When you think back about the trip back after the loss to Northwestern, the trip back afterwards, how were you able to make sure that everybody stayed locked in and were focused on bouncing back as quickly as possible?
Well, I think our whole team really helped me, stay locked in and stay focused. After the game, Coach really encouraged us, and he told us, everything is going to be good. We just got to continue to work hard. And I think that Sunday coming back really helped us because, we had to get back to practice that day. And, we had a Friday night game too, so I think it helped us get over thinking about Northwestern and really focusing more on Minnesota that week.
Yeah, Taulia, you talk about Minnesota. It's one thing to have that mindset, right? You want to have the right mindset, but it's another to go out there and execute. You did bounce back in that second game. You threw for 394 yards. You had 3 touchdown passes. You had a couple of touchdown runs. It was one of the greatest quarterback performances in school history. So how much pride was there in the way you showed up and bounced back against Minnesota in particular?
Yes, sir. I mean, I was just going out there, trying to do my job and just more so learning from last week. And, it was just a great team win. Our defense showed up when they had to. And, everyone was doing their job, and I'm just happy we got the win.
Listen, I understand 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 practice at a time, all that stuff. But because of the success and that you're having and the entire team has had, there's a lot of buzz and a really good vibe about Maryland football. Fans have gone through some challenging times. What's it mean to bring back some of that joy and some of that excitement to the program, and what's that feel like to you?
Oh, yes, sir. It feels good, I think Maryland, this is what Maryland football is all about, and, we're just trying to work hard and win football games. So,
I mean, when you talk about Maryland football, of course, you started out at Alabama. You made the decision to transfer. So what was it about Maryland and the relationship that you have with the head coach, Mike Locksley, that made you feel like that was the right place for you?
Yes, sir. Coach Locks has a great relationship with my parents as well as my brother, and my family is really big on trust, and my family really trusts Coach Locks with me, so that was just the biggest thing.
It was such an unusual offseason, right? And then at the same time, you were looking to earn that starting job. So what was your process? How did you go about approaching that? And then what did it feel like when you were named the starter?
Well, Coach Locks told me when I first came here that, I'm going to have to earn everything. Nothing is given. I'm going to have to, prove myself not only to him and the coaches, but as well as to the team. And that's by just working hard every day and just showing up. And when Coach told me or announced that I was a starter, it was a good feeling for me. My first time being a starter in college. And, despite how things went that first game, it's, at the end of the day, we're just trying to win football games. So it's just good to see our team win.
Maryland quarterback Taulia Tagovailoa joining us. Big game coming up against Ohio State on Saturday. Of course, you mentioned family and how important family is to you. There were some great clips on social media over the weekend of you cheering and celebrating and encouraging Tua as you played against the Cardinals. Like, what was that like? What kind of emotions were you feeling when you were watching your brother?
Yes, sir. I mean, it was very cool, to see him come back, and I'm just happy to see him have fun, knowing his journey and process and what he's been through, and to see him play like how he did, it was just overwhelming. And knowing the tough times that, Tua had with his hip and stuff, And, just seeing him come back and nothing is different. He looks more faster to me and just more comfortable again. So I think that was the biggest thing for me.
God, I can't even imagine what it must be like for you guys, because from the outside looking in, it's an amazing thing to see. For instance, when you played against Minnesota, the story goes that your parents were in the stands, and when you threw your first TD pass, your brother immediately FaceTimed your dad and was celebrating. So what does him supporting you like that mean to you?
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, it's everything. I wish he could be here watching my games live, and I wish I could be, at their games live. But it's just cool, I think it's the biggest thing is just making my parents happy. But, Tua has always been my biggest, fan, and I've always been his biggest fan. So, sure.
It's the love, man. It's beautiful. So the story goes that you and your father stayed up nearly all night talking about the Minnesota game, Tua, and everything else. Like, how would you describe the impact that your parents have had on you growing up?
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, my parents did everything to me. And, after the game, we stayed up and just talked. And it was really more so just spending time with each other. It's because throughout the week, we don't really get to see each other and all that stuff. So it was more so catching up. And, it was a good time. I miss my parents every time I get to see them. It's good to just spend time with them.
So you got 2 big wins this season. You got a ton of momentum and a lot of focus. Now you've got a major challenge in Ohio State on Saturday. What is the biggest challenge when you face them? And then how much are you looking forward to that opportunity?
Yes, sir. I mean, just their defense. They have a lot of great athletes, and their box is really good. And, they're just, they're the number 1 team in the Big Ten. And, for me, I'm just looking, and our team, we're just looking forward to the opportunity to compete against them. And, we're going to do our best, and, we'll see how everything goes.
Hey, Taulia, one last thought, and I'll let you go, and I appreciate your time, man. You're taking this all in stride. I mean, you're really focused, and it seems like you really have a pretty good handle on this. I mean, is this the way it's always been for you, or have you had to kind of take a step back and really slow everything down? Because everything is moving pretty quickly right now, yet it seems like you are taking it in stride. What does it all feel like to you?
Man, it feels good. I think the biggest thing is just our team. Coach really focuses on, 1 week at a time and 1 day at a time. I think that's what really slows everything down for me. We're not looking at the bigger picture. We're just looking at one game at a time and one team. So I think if we continue to do that, we'll be good.
Mindful. Maryland is taking on number 3 Ohio State. That game is at Saturday, or on Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Taulia Tagovailoa is the quarterback of Maryland. They're having a great year. Taulia, great to have you on the show. Really appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Great talking to you. All right, a little Maryland football. Man, there's a good vibe, good energy, and a major challenge coming up this weekend. Number 3 Ohio State and Maryland again on Saturday.